talk therapy and how touchy this conversation can be in our community, in our society, especially if it's suggested by one partner. Most of the times, I find like it's women who suggest these things because probably we like to talk or whatever, but sometimes it's not taken very well. And just to, firm things up on this Micah theory, Masishi says, I remember when I suggested for therapy and he was like, how can we go to a stranger for them, Zulu, you are the stranger here, for them to solve our own issues? Why not use our own common sense? And today the conversation is, what does it really mean when your partner, male or female, suggests that you go for therapy?
You see, Mikali, it said that the blow that takes you out is not the strongest, but the one that you never saw coming.
That's true.
It's usually not a question of how strong you are. It's how alert you are that makes you survive in this world. In fact, you don't win battles by fighting all of them. It's by knowing which ones to avoid, which ones to fight.
Yep.
Today we are discussing how to tell that trouble is brewing. How to give you the advantage of time and space to take action before it balloons into crisis and it swallows you. And today we want to handle it on two aspects.
Okay.
The signs that there's trouble brewing and your partner is having problems getting to you, and what they might say, and suggesting therapy is just one of them. And on the other side is this resistance and egotistical response to getting help that many people interpret like admitting defeat. Like now, if you start telling me how to run my things, the egotistical defensiveness, I know what I'm doing. And men have that problem that they will not ask for directions, mere directions on the road. They would rather do guesswork, go round and round and round. Men are not the same. We evolve, we grow. Once upon a time, you used to say, there are things you never used. You say, I cannot read for 2 hours. How can you walk? I want rest after every 30 minutes. As you grew now, you don't even realize when 3 hours are going. And you are seated in the same place doing a show. You cannot do a whole week show in one sitting.
Imagine that. We've come a long way.
When you are starting,
yes,
after 30 minutes you need a tea and a break and to check your notes again, to revise the questions, to check how. So if they ask this, so if it's a new guest, you are nervous, you wanted to know, but what if the conversation does not flow? What else can I say? Are they introvert? Are they extrovert? Talk too much? Nowadays you go with the energy, with the flow. You will revise your notes, you will check what it is, but it is not the panicky fear.
That's true.
It is just to enrich and see which element, There before you couldn't listen to the director when you still listen.
No.
How many people do I listen? Now, when you talk, I lose my. Which question now? What are you saying? What time?
That is so true.
So, men, we start somewhere. When you are just young, you have a lot of instincts and proclivities that come with that gender or that job or that the challenges of life, they only seem overwhelming when you're new. If you're open for growth, with time, what used to seem impossible becomes now easy. It's not even something. There before, when you are new on the road, you're checking who's coming and you're driving this way, checking which indicator did I put. Nowadays, you're talking on phone, you're speeding with one hand, you're accelerating, you're overtaking here, you're giving way while laughing, and there's no challenge. Being a man is not a static thing. I'm differentiating things so that the weaknesses we arrive to the world with as men, like egotistical defensiveness, does not become a cage. It's only a stage.
Hey, how do you do those things?
The many people who stay caged with men, and they praise the ego in weddings. Be careful with his ego. They praise it when they teach mothers how to parent boys. They say, be careful, don't cross him. Instead of teaching him that the world will cross him, it's him not to be too delicate. It's him to develop, shock absorbers.
Yes.
You can say, make smooth roads. Our cars have no shocks. Make sure we don't roll on the road. Make sure it is smooth road. Do you talk like that?
No, we never do that.
Let's hope the builders of the road will do a good job.
Get a car that works in your area.
While you're hoping that actually to be smooth, you also prepare for the alternative.
Absolutely.
And if you know your road is particularly neglected, you look for a car that can survive. Somebody said that it's easier to protect your own feet with slippers than to try to carpet the whole world.
That's true.
You know, as men, let's stop trying to carpet the whole world, teaching everybody how to handle men, how not to say this and the other. While you're teaching your own, the ones who are there, the ones how to, yes, you also learn how to handle them. Don't walk around like a delicate person, and the world doesn't revolve around you. So as to say, the ego, the defensiveness, the question the man is asking, why should you go to another person? Of course, that is very plainly foolish. There's a verse that says that those who despise the path of wisdom will soon settle in the assembly of the dead. I have a Bible study for your children. Proverbs are 31 chapters. And the months will have that 1 days or that. So if you read one proverb a day, just the month. You use good news Bible, a Bible that is easy, or just the language that they can understand, because Proverbs will have dispelled all that ignorance. In fact, it asks you to sell everything you have. If it costs you everything, acquire wisdom. You have to stop everything, get knowledge. There are some aspects in life that are not mysterious, but they are life-saving. One of them is acquiring knowledge before crisis comes. It saves you in that time of crisis that you don't even recognize the crisis. You avoided it long ago. For example, seeking help, asking for advice, calling up somebody to ask what they know. My wife is second time now has mentioned to do therapy. And then somebody quickly tell you there's a way she wants that conversation head, and she's unable to do it when you're just the two of you. So why do people talk about, I've talked about men and the defensiveness. It may be inborn, it may be natural, more present. Women to have an ego. Everybody has that sense of me, sense of pride, who I am. Ego is not a bad thing. It's about whether it's healthy or unhealthy. When it is ballooned and oversized and bloated and sensitive and irrational, that's when it's unreasonable. But you need a strong ego that you can assert yourself to the world. You can believe in your capabilities. You can show up in the world. Remember the Freudian, the Sigmund Freud, the under is the id, the child, the emotions. On top is superego, the morality, the parent. In the middle is the ego. But the ego today we are discussing in terms of the who you are, sense of pride, sense of identity, sense of separateness from the world. Okay? That is who you are. And you need it to be healthy. Don't kill it. Don't negate yourself. Don't say yes to everything. Don't lose boundaries. Have your place. Know what you deserve. Have standards. Have your own sense of class. That's a healthy ego. If you've been in corporate world, you know also women can have monstrous egos.
Very true.
Monstrous, irrational, in fact try to boast of everybody and prove a point. That is not a strong ego, that's a weakness. In fact, those who mistake anger and violence and irrationality and rigidity for strength, they're so mistaken because it becomes easy to play the emotions against them. Those people are strong, they're composed. They make their decisions in a calm way. So as a man, you may arrive in the world with all those biases and some cultures encouraging them. And we still have today groupings of men gathering in the millions to encourage that pathology of defensiveness and putting women down and appearing like they're superior. They have teachers, heaped around them teachers. What Paul said, to tell them all they want to hear, that by gender they are superior. And we don't have time to go into all that. But I've always asked them, if we were that superior, why was it necessary that we needed a help?
Did they give you an answer?
The idea of women came because of how needy we are. It's not good for this guy to be alone. It's not good. Even God felt it. Oh my God. This is not working. You guys, I think you need somebody. Come here. That was the thought line. You know? The guy is working there among beasts, working out there in the trees. This guy, okay, come now. I think you need
sleep, man. Sleep.
You know? Is to say we are strong, but we are better when we know to coexist. And humility for men is mandatory. For every leader is mandatory. For everybody to know your space. Humility does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. Okay, some tongue twister there.
It took a second. Did you see? It's like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Is that the same thing?
Don't belittle yourself. But don't be preoccupied with yourself.
Absolutely.
That is the idea of humility.
Okay.
When you think less of yourself, you're belittling yourself. When we are saying think of yourself less. To say, don't be preoccupied with yourself, value others, give them attention.
Yeah.
But you know your strength and you know your limitations. When they write thesis, they force you to think about what will not work.
Yeah.
For your proposal.
Yes.
My thesis, it goes this, but here it will not work. Showing you to always remember, you are not universal. You have where you will be limited.
Absolutely.
Where is the limitation of my research in this
Yeah.
context? I saw a quote I like that if you cannot articulate your weaknesses, you have the most terrible weakness of all,
Yeah.
of not knowing your weakness.
That is very devastating.
And articulating your weakness does not mean telling it to everyone.
No.
Can you tell it to yourself?
Yeah.
Are you aware of it? Can you, and it is to say, knowing your weakness also does not mean relishing, living there, wallowing in your weaknesses, because they have the capacity to swallow you. And somebody said, if God knew giving us free will or the freedom was contained the potential for us to not choose Him,
Why?
if it contained the potential for evil,
Yes.
to choose to hurt another person, hate the
Yes.
God, run away,
Uh-huh.
the moment we give them freedom. C.S. Lewis answered it and said, because although free will made evil possible, it's also the only thing that made love possible. So the advice is, this ego of trying to control people and wanting them to do what you want, you negate love. God Himself had to risk to make love possible. For me to love you, must be loving you from a free point, from a free will,
Yeah.
from a place of freedom.
Yeah.
If you negate my choices, that's not love, but that's compulsion.
Yes.
So when people talk about therapy as a couple, this is one sign that they wish to work on this union. Healthy people suggest therapy to improve us. And when you interpret it against them, you are switching off the smoke alarm.
Yep.
When you switch off the smoke alarm, have you sorted the problem of fire?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You have only said, never tell me about fire. You climb to the house and switch it off.
Yes.
What have you told it? Never tell me about.
Fire. Never.
Although you trust yourself and you're confident, why do you keep setting alarms?
Because, you know, what one day.
You know the potential for crossing borders, going too far in your sleep.
Yes.
So you ask an inanimate thing to make noise for you.
Yeah, please.
You request for disturbance
Yes.
to be spared a bigger problem.
Absolutely.
Can you learn to view your partner's complaints or when they raise a concern as an alarm rather than an attack?
Okay.
And it will spare you more problems. The same alarm you put in the morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes, out of practice, you can have biological clocks of your own.
Yes.
But when the stakes are too high, you still don't switch off the alarms. Because you don't know what happened the preceding night.
Yeah.
Might have been too tired, stayed too long, you had insomnia, you struggled. So in the morning, the sleep is heavier than normal. So although I trust myself, I still don't want to take the risk.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
When the stakes are high, if you value your union, you cannot switch off alarms. Your partners suggesting therapy, suggesting you talk. Some people, it's not therapy, it's the pastor. Sometimes pastors wear many hats.
Yeah.
The spiritual leaders in our culture, they are social workers, they are counselors,
Yes.
they are emotional supporters, they are mediators,
Yeah.
they are judges. You need to respect spiritual leaders.
Absolutely.
In our society, they play all the roles and we don't care. They are not trained psychologists. Pastor, we have an issue. And he can't wake up. He can't say wake up and go.
No.
Sincere ministers are the most overworked and least appreciated. Few of us cannot say we were helped by a minister. Few of us. At a time when nobody wanted to come to you,
Yeah.
you have no money, nothing. They come and pray for you, give you emotional support, and they don't ask for money.
They don't.
So, although we have had a few quacks who got so much attention in the media, that should not blind you to the fact that many of them are sincere. And I was telling some group that if there's a group you should help, is those sincere servants of God.
Yeah.
If they want to buy a car, assist them. When they're fundraising, don't complain too much.
Yeah.
As when we want a car, we are supposed to be prayed for. When he wants a car, we raise for him. People can develop ways of People can develop all these ways.
Yes.
Some of these ministers have sacrificed all their lives, and I'm not encouraging everyday fundraising. I'm just saying, sometimes just remember yourself how many times you were assisted when you had nothing to offer, and assist them when you can. Some of them, they just need a motorbike, and it will change their lives.
Yeah.
They will be there to solve conflicts. They will be there to help, and it's to say, whether somebody say, let's go see a pastor, whether they say, let's go see a counselor, whether they say, let's go, whoever they're suggesting is a person. There before, people used to go to parents, and I told you not to bring parents.
Yeah.
Don't bring uncle, don't bring auntie.
Yes.
Because once you open that door for them to see the nakedness of your union, you may never close it. You have given them the right now to talk about it. They have learned, even if they are gentle people, the relationship, the relative, the fact that they are in your family, exposes you in a way that is permanent.
Yeah. That is true. That is so true.
They will never unsee what they saw. You may have moved past it 5 years ago, but their daughter knows there's a time mom and dad went to Moikali, they had an issue with the husband.
Yes. don't look at them like that. They're not perfect.
Mom was there.
Yes.
The issues.
Yeah.
Mom says she's good. She did not give us details, but I know it is something.
It's a miracle they're still together.
You know it's talked. So
Yes.
the problem with relatives is their permanence in your circles, in your blood relations. Better to go to people who are not permanent, so that part of your life, after you sort it, it disappears with whoever you sorted it with.
Yeah.
When you go to a doctor, you don't camp in the hospital. You keep telling people about that was a phase in your life. You are good, and you thank you. You are appreciative, but you don't stay there. You move on. Can you view psychological problems like medical problems? You solve it, get done with it, move on. You know, to plant those who are treating you in your life. You know?
Yeah.
And then they keep talking as if you're still there.
Yeah.
You know? The tendency for relatives to circulate gossip and malice and hatred. And sometimes the people you're calling to come and ask you are already changing. Okay?
Yeah.
Not everybody you have biology means you have chemistry. Biology is blood, natural. Chemistry is friendship.
Yes.
Not everybody you're related means you have a relationship.
Yeah.
Because when you invite relatives, you always imagine there's a relationship.
Yep.
You're just related by blood. Somebody calls them accidents of ancestry. I don't want to use that kind of language, but just say, don't take it too far.
Yes.
You may have very nice parents. There's a place for parents. Parental advice and wishing you well and helping you where they can and just connecting. There's a place for parents. Remember it. Okay?
Yes.
There's a place for friends. Some friends, generally you discuss through life.
Yeah.
By the time there's a crisis developing, you've discussed those situations with your friends severally because you didn't know how far it would go. You may tell them, finally we saw the therapist and we were able to.
Yeah.
But a close friend, usually you know each other's life.
Yeah.
Whatever is hanging on your head, you will end up talking to you'll end up.
Yeah.
You know, how is it going? We were discussing this, it was bothering me. Whatever is bothering you, whoever you talk to every day, they'll come to know about it. But at some point we may realize it's not the friend I need now to guide because they may take my side.
Yeah.
Because they are my friend, they may not be my husband.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
or they may be right, but my husband will suspect. You know,
that's
it's
true.
those boyfriends of yours. If I tell you, you're telling me what your guy said, I also have girls who can say this.
Yeah.
So, it's to say one thing, if they're suggesting therapy, they're suggesting repair because they're not given up.
There's hope.
Yes, they still want to try.
Yeah.
The second reason is, if people keep suggesting for that person to talk to them, they're indirectly saying, one, either this problem is beyond what our conversation capacity.
Okay.
When you mature, you can converse over everything. There's a time I told you that. Prefer the two of you being the most sovereign union that is independent from everybody else, and according to how defense, how open, vulnerable you are, you can sort most of the things, two of you. And even when I need to go for therapy myself, I'm going there for my own journey.
Yeah.
It's not always the marriage you're trying to treat. If we can talk, if you can talk, you may never need a third party. If you learn how to talk, you may never need, but many times that's an evolution point. You come there after a lot of growth. Okay?
Yeah.
If you need, if they're suggesting conversation, they could also be suggesting, we are limited. I can't access you, or we cannot converse decently. Whenever we touch the issue, conversation blows up, gets emotional. We start quarreling, we start fighting, hurting each other. They could be suggesting that where we are versus what is in front of us, we need help.
Yeah.
It's not always an accusation, because many people take it like an accusation. Are you saying I'm that bad?
Yeah.
Sometimes people come and ask, they describe a situation in my inbox, and I ask them to seek psychological counseling. Then they respond in a way that is very weird. Is it that bad? If it's an issue enough to concern you until you write it to me.
Yes.
What does seeing a psychologist mean?
Yeah.
Some saying you are saying they have a mental problem. I don't know why people associate therapy with mental illness. Mental illness and bodily illness are all illnesses.
They are. They are.
And there's no illness that is good. We try to hope we never need to see a doctor, although we keep their contacts with us.
Yes, we do. And get insurance.
While we are hoping.
Yes.
We are still pragmatic to know, should it happen, I can get an opinion, I can get help. It's to say, sometimes they're suggesting that way because the problem versus our capacity to converse decently, they're not agreeing, but we need to get this done. The other problem why they suggest this is, sometimes, Mwekali, you married when you were genuine friends and you valued each other's opinions.
Okay.
But with the time this person begins to buy, to drift to notions, to be influenced by other sources and people, and that begin to degrade, to diminish your position in your life, in their life, they stop being open to you. You stop being that free with each other.
Yeah.
They stop creating time. They arrive home, but they don't come home emotionally. Some people come home physically, but they don't come home emotionally. They sleep. They are on their phone. They are on their computer. They are with their friends. They are chatting with their... They are home, but they are not home. They may be coming home early still, but they are not coming home emotionally.
Yeah.
You may see that tendency, and when you raise it, it repeats itself, or they brush it off. Or you may notice that this person, I was asking the other day, imagine this person is talking to their mother 4 times a day. They're not running a chicken farm together. They don't have a business together.
No.
Or this guy who stops by his mother before he comes. I had a case like that.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Stops by his mother's place.
Okay.
The mothers who either they don't have a husband, or they don't connect to the husband.
Okay.
They divorced, or the husband died, or the mother is alone. Then when there's the oldest son, he takes the place of the man of the home.
Yes.
So they're always collaborating, discussing issues with the mother.
Yeah.
About the running of the home, about other siblings, and all the affairs of the family.
Yes.
So when you get married to him, you feel like a second fiddle.
Yeah.
And if you're naive enough, you ignore that dynamic when you came in. The only time you negotiate is before you buy. Listen to me.
Yes.
If I find that my girl is talking to her mother so long in the day, I will say everything between us is working. I think you look like what I'm looking for. You two are happy with me, but I have a concern. I am having to squeeze in your life. I can hardly get you on the phone. You're always with your mother.
Yes.
It is said to leave your father and mother so that you can cleave to your partner.
Yeah.
Are you there yet? No, my mother, you can't separate us. Thank you very much. I was not trying to separate you.
I know my place now.
Thank you. And I move on, keep on searching. People ignore that part because of butterflies.
Yeah.
Somebody said sometimes the thing that warns you that you're in love is not butterflies, but rather cockroaches, pain. Is how disturbed you are by the person's conduct.
Yeah.
That tells you already fall in love with them.
Yes.
If you find that you are being disturbed by how unavailable, unreachable a person is, and whether the mother, they say the mother is the best friend, whether my dad is my role model, whether the fact that you decided to get married, insinuates that you're willing to rearrange your life and make the partner number one, the first point of contact, the first friend. And when you realize they're not giving you the chance, deserting, you may now suggest therapy. We are saying sometimes people suggest therapy because they realize there's a problem that has persisted, and then either you don't agree that there's a problem, or they want to be sure, to be told whether they're exaggerating.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not sure that you're right, even you. You are uncomfortable with it, but you don't know that you're exaggerating. You don't know what is happening. So if the person is suggesting therapy, it could be that there's a problem between you. The thing is to say, people never ask to see counselor to go and celebrate. You never walk to a doctor and say, I came to say I've been so healthy for the last 5 years.
No.
We all know we appreciate doctors, but you never book appointments to go pay and say, thank you very much for the good job, I don't need you.
No.
So,
No.
By the time a person is suggesting therapy, it means there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a conversation that is deep.
Okay.
I want you to be careful with, as I finish what sometimes people bring up the idea of counselors.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulators, when they return to your life, will suggest outrageous measures of correction. And one of them may be seeing a counselor, both of us.
See, I had a question about that. I'm happy that we are there. Continue, please. Please.
Sometimes, I was telling you the other day that it is thieves who invented oaths.
Yes.
To purchase trust.
Yes.
To up the odds. Mm-hmm. To swear and do this. Let me die. If I lie, let me. So people can come and tell you, let's go to the pastor. Let us go to psychologist. In fact,
whatever
let us
you
go
need.
therapy.
Yes.
So there are people who suggest therapy when they know they are violated you, they have lost your trust. They're suggesting it as a means to manipulate their way back to your life. The day you will sense insincerity, even with the request of therapy, you shall respond that they should seek the therapy themselves alone.
Yes.
For their own future. You support the idea of seeking a
it would be
counselor?
good for you. Good for you.
But there's nothing to medicate between us.
Yeah.
And if you refuse to see a therapist or pastor, does not mean you have not forgiven. The Bible only commands you to forgive, not to trust. There's no verse that says you shall trust your neighbor.
No. We're just loving them.
Please.
Yes.
So, if a person has lost your trust, it's you to decide whether you'll be comfortable to put your life in their hands again.
Yeah.
If you don't feel safe, thank God again. There is no marriage certificate required to enter heaven.
Yes.
What is required? There is only salvation certificate. The book that will be checked is the book of life.
Yes.
Not to register as a marriage.
No.
Please feel free.
Yes.
And
oh God.
people like Paul who taught us most about marriage were not married.
That's true.
And I told you, when it is Paul, we agree. When it's Pauline, we question.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it is to say, if you still value, this is a conclusion. We have said narcissists, manipulators, people who like to play mind games with you, can throw in conversions, dramatic apologies, all kind of measures to bring you back to their life. Your intuition will tell you this is not sincere. Especially if you used to suggest therapy all along until you gave up.
Yeah.
And you left. Yeah. Now they say, now the therapy you've been suggesting, let's go there.
Yeah. It's about time. I see your point. Yeah.
Once you sense insincerity in the suggestion, leave it. But in the first 3 cases where the person is trying to fix a problem, they still have a hope for the worst response is to respond like the way, like the lady said the guy responded.
Yeah.
Sometimes when ladies themselves resist therapy, especially when they know they'll be forced to face what they don't want to face. They'll be made to answer questions. You need accountability. When a person suggests, even if you don't think it's a serious problem enough, agree for the therapy.
Yes.
So that at least you can satisfy their need to be heard. The person is just looking to be heard, to be seen. For another person to reflect and tell them whether they are. Yes.
You know, that last point, I've had many stories about that, where people come back and suggest that after you've just raised it over and over and you've given up on it. And when they come in, and some of the times, most of the times, you will probably buy into the idea of therapy. But then it's just for the show.
Exactly.
Immediately they get you back, they just go back to what it is they were doing before, which is really, really sad. Now, listen. Suggesting therapy is one common way people communicate problems to their partners when they feel unheard or stonewalled. They hope that with a third party, there will finally be a space to address the matter. It's not a suggestion that you're incompetent to handle issues. It's an attempt to get the two of you talking about sensitive issues. So rest assured that your partner is deeply unhappy about that issue and resentment is building within them. So eventually, the bitterness of feeling unheard and unseen by you will eat up all the love and respect they had for you. If you don't mind losing your partner, then you can continue like you're doing. But if you value them and you want to keep your family, then you better take action now while you still have the chance to redeem that situation.